But yeah, I'm really happy with both the changes that I have made to the space and the changes that I have made to my collection in the past year. I sold a couple of congas that weren't really speaking to me anymore, and that hadn't really left their shelves in months, if not years. And I've added quite a few cool horses as well. So, without further ado, welcome and enjoy. It just seems appropriate to start this video with Cookie. So here he is sitting on a shelf where he's definitely not supposed to be, but he is too cute for me to do anything about it. Right, Bubba's? Yeah, look at you. You're so handsome. Okay, so just like last year, my horse room or horse corner is in our basement. As you can see, we don't talk about this corner. That's packing for Kentucky already. We talk about this corner because this corner is still pretty. Now he's in the donut. Okay, so we have this kind of haphazard shelf half wall that separates my space/office from husband Sam's space/office. I work 100% remote, so I quite literally have my career from right there in that corner, which is new from last time. During my last collection tour, I was working a different job and it was completely in person, so this is new. I had a desk last time, but it wasn't my work desk, so it's quite a bit more substantial now. All right, so let us start off at the beginning. Also, okay, I'm getting distracted, but look at these incredible pony pouches. I just unboxed them, that's why they're out, that my friend Katie made for me. They're so beautiful. I have never seen such gorgeous pony pouches. I'm obsessed with them. They might just like hang out for a while because I don't want to put them away. They're so beautiful. Okay, so let's actually start. I promise we're gonna start now. We have, of course, my hobby coffee table. It's just a nice horizontal space, really, to display things. And then I've got storage underneath. So this is where I keep all of my reference cards. I have a, quote, filing cabinet for the trads and a filing cabinet for the minis. This is where I keep all of my binders, my binder bag, and other materials that aren't too hard on the eye, that can be out and not completely drive me nuts. And then this changes a lot, but right now, this is the display we got going on. We've got some hobby books, catalogs, magazines, some Nan cookies, and other goodies. Husband Sam gave that to me, and I thought that was really cool. So anyways, it gets to live on the coffee table. Okay, the two hanging shelves have all of my chinas. I don't have very many. I just collect chinas for fun whenever I see something that catches my eye. The Beswick Hunter Sam bought for me the day that he proposed, so that one is special. And then the Dalmatian I found at an antique store with a good friend. I also have a moose, and then quite a few horses. These are all Hagen Renekers. And then the three kitties are customs that I had done. At the time we only had 3 cats, now we have 4, but don't tell Socks. Okay, and then this is my first stablemates shelf. This is where I have the majority of my sport horses. So the cantering warmbloods are up top there. The extended trot Hanoverian, the newer warmblood in the corner there. The Irish fellow, I want to call him Charleston, but I know that's wrong. And then all of my, quote, standing Thoroughbreds. This is one of my favorite stablemates molds of all time. I love him. Nothing super new in this cabinet from last year, but I do love all of them. And then up top, we have my Breyer chinas, or porcelains. These were like Breeds of the World series, and then some like historical artists, and then one collectible. Okay, now we shall move on. The first unit here is mostly light horses and Spanish horses. I did have to do some rearranging recently, so the show jumping warm bloods did get hucked on this shelf, but it's mostly light and Spanish horses. All the way up top, before we forget about them, are my 2 sets of very sentimental classics, some Halloween stablemates, and then in the background are my resin Triple Crown winners. I have the American Pharaoh and the Justify. The Rain and Spirit Classic set was my first ever Breyer set, or Breyer horses. So they still live here. Spirit does not have ears. And then the Arab family belonged to my mom and my aunt. And when my grandpa passed away, that was the one thing that I knew that I wanted to grab from his house. So they live with me now. All right, so we're gonna start this shelf at the top. We have my Oasis conga. The big highlight there is Burnham, who is a run of 50 from Sweet Home Chicago. We're getting a new Heads Up version at BREYERFEST this year, which is nice. I love seeing this mold used. I do have the original Oasis, who's a connoisseur. She is also very lovely. And then we have my 4 Pams. One is hiding, but you can see 3 of them. They are lovely. Carinosa is new from last year. I got her in February from a friend. All right, next shelf we have the boys. This is Ashquar. Only new addition here is the gray there, who was a special run from BREYERFEST last year. But they are ever lovely. I love this sculpt. Oh, and I forgot. I did get I won this guy. I won him in the Boo photo show. So there are 2 new additions, the gray and the Halloween horse. I forgot about Spectre. Yeah, I won him in the Boo Stablemates Collectors class. I was 2nd, and so I won a horse, which was really nice. Another super cool addition. This is one of the cookies that I won at Nan, except his husband Sam painted it for me, which is really cool. He's not an equine painter, but look at how well he did on Rialto. I'm like, you can paint leopard Appaloosas for me any day of the week, bud. Look at how good that is. He's working on one of my champion medallions currently, but it's not finished yet. But I love this one. This was my Christmas gift. Okay, and then both of these things are new for this year. The stone, right? You're like, Sam, what's going on? Why do you have a stone? Because I normally don't collect them. But the stone, my mom actually won in the show raffle at the Happy Camper Classic in September. It was her one model horse outing that she went with me on. She does one a year, her annual model horse outing. And I told her she should keep it, and she insisted, of course, that I keep it, because what is she going to do with a plastic horse? And so I said, okay, well then you can at least name it. And together we came up with the name Marie Antoinette, because my mom's name is Anne Marie. So she lives here now. She's very special. She will not go anywhere. And she has shown fabulously. Not that that was why we tried to win her or anything, but she is a lovely addition. And then this is my little surprise, I guess. I'm trying to get into performance showing. So this is an Aaron Corbett Western saddle. It has Swarovski crystals in it. It is absolutely gorgeous. Here's the bridle. Yeah, I love this. And it was so pretty that I figured I have to display it, because I don't want it to be tucked away in a Tupperware and for me to never look at it. So during CCA this year, I bought a bunch of these just raw, untreated wooden saddle stands from Breyer. And I stained them, and I built them bridle hooks. So you'll see a few more of those that are empty, but this one has my beautiful Western saddle set. I cannot wait to show with it. All right, next. I don't think any of these girls are new. They were all here last year. Black Araba is wearing this gorgeous traditional Arabian halter that I won in a show raffle. I think the blue looks so beautiful on her. I don't know much about traditional Arab tack. I'm still learning, so I think it looks pretty though. A few more fun things. There's a couple of kitty cats. Look at how cute they are. And then this is the planter from the Kenzie Williamson stable accessory set from BREYERFEST last year. And I painted that. It's supposed to look like a tarnished planter with a succulent and some ferns. I'm not an artist, but I was pretty happy with how it turned out. Her tutorial was very thorough. Or else it would not have turned out like that. And then here's another one of those saddle stands that is currently empty, but you'll see that there are 3 of them for a reason, and that's because I have currently commissioned 3 English saddle sets that I am very excited to have, and hopefully they will be displayed in my next collection tour. Alright, next are the Weather Girls. There are a few new additions to this conga this year. Most notably is Assam. I am thrilled to finally have one of this girl. I purchased her from the Bonnie Ellis estate auctions that happened at the beginning of this year, and I'm just very happy to finally have one in my collection. She is beautiful, she shows fabulously, she's already overalled for me, and yeah, I'm really happy to have her. I think she's a nice copy. And then I also added a Thunderstorm this year, who I think is such a lovely regular run. I've had my Partly Cloudy. She was actually part of my carpet herd. But I figured it was high time to add a Thunderstorm. I really, really like her. Okay, down here we have my Secession and the Fire sets. My favorite out of these guys is definitely my Decoupage and Impressionistic. I love them. My Decoupage has been getting some sun recently because she was pretty yellow, but she is looking nice and bright white. I am very, very happy with how she's looking. She also had to have her ear professionally repaired for a second time, but that was, gosh, 9 months ago, and she's holding steady. So I think she is finally where she needs to be. She's been a labor of love, though. Alright, and then I did add another troubadour. I said Hark was going to be the only one. Obviously, that has not held true because I am back in possession of an original troubadour. The original color is just so pretty, and my friend actually gave him to me, and I just love him. He's very special. His pinking is really nice, and I could not say no. I could not turn away that face. He's very, very cute. And then in the back is Hark's book. Hark's book. If you haven't heard me talk about it before, Harkness lives 15 minutes away from me. His owners are wonderful people. They live in the horse country of this area. And he is actually coming in person to my live show in September. So if you're going to be at the Oakland Open in September, we're not here to talk about all of that, but Harkness will be there. So bring your Hark and your Sharpies because you can meet the horse and get your models signed. All right, next are the show jumping warm bloods. There are a couple new faces in this conga, specifically these 2 boys. I was on an early 2000s regular run kick at the beginning of 2025. I don't know what happened, but I'm not mad about it because those 2 are childhood nostalgic models for me. I thought that they were just the coolest thing I had ever seen when I was a kid. And they're both really beautiful. I was able to buy them on Gammon from a friend, and then I got Ideal from the Bonnie Ellis estate auction. He was actually new in box, and that was pretty cool. They are both really pretty. And then another empty saddle rack. Subtle foreshadowing. Okay, and this little stinker is the reason why I had to rearrange a lot of things recently when I dusted in anticipation of getting 2 of the volunteer model in Kentucky in July. I had to make more room because I plan on keeping them. I love the volunteer model for this year, Salut. I love Duende, obviously. And the 2 colors that we've seen so far are so cool, and I cannot wait to see the 3rd. I'm sure it's also going to be very, very pretty. As you can see on the end there, is the one that I received for volunteering at Breyer Midwest in Kansas. He is the shaded black copy with the Belton spotting. Say that 5 times fast. And then also new this year is Majorca, who is this lovely web special. He is a buttermilk buckskin color, and he is absolutely beautiful. And then the rest of these guys, you all have seen. I love my golden sunset. He is still collection favorite. All right, I haven't pulled the horse off a shelf yet, which is like a record. So here is my copy of Salou. You can see his beautiful shading in that black color. And you can see, yeah, you can see his belt and spots pretty well. And he does say BREYERFEST 2025, which is kind of funny. They call him the ambassador model now, but look at those eyes. He is so beautiful. All right, and then here in this little corner down at the bottom are my 3 Cancians. I will forever love Glossy Cancian. He is, I think, such an underrated Premier model. All right, we are moving on to the corner shelf. We got a lot packed in here, so let's get to it. Okay, top shelf are all of my Gambler's Choice classics, Vintage Club classics, and other limited classics. There they are. Going back, we have Santiago, Scotty, Slider, the Thoroughbred champion. Behind him, because I'm running out of room for classics, are the 2025 Gambler's Choice Ramblers, Tractor Supply limited edition Mare and Full set, 2 Lancelots, Vintage Club Secretariat, Zanes, and then all of my American Pharaohs, of which we have the 3 Nayadis, the original, the Tractor Supply Limited, the Eek Halloween Horse, and the black and white Tobiano. All right, starting off strong, we have my valegros. We have the lovely web special Acadia, as well as Bondi. Bondi was already cool, but he was also national champion at Nan in the European Warm Blood class. And his brother, Rialto, who we haven't gotten to yet, was reserve national champion, and that was like the coolest moment in my showing career. So anyways, to get grand and reserve national champions in like my favorite class of all time, it was very cool. So Bondi is extra special now. He was always special and cool, but he's extra special now. And then here's my winner circle sign that I made, stained and put together for my live show. It is just hanging out because I'm very proud of it, and I think it looks cool in front of the valegros. And there is that third and final saddle stand. Subtle foreshadowing for next year, hopefully. Fingers crossed. All right, and then next we have the Totalist conga, who has grown actually by 2 since last year. We have the new regular run Salvino, who I love this copy of him. He's so nice. He was my birthday gift from Husband Sam, part of my birthday gift from Husband Sam. And I got to handpick him. I really, really like him. You all know, man of the hour. He is the inspiration behind my profile picture and all my graphics, so he's also very special. And then moving down, Glossy Landler is new for this year. I've always had the matte, but I did get a glossy at the Breyer Midwest swap meet. And I really like this copy. He's got some really cool flea bites and shading. And if you look closely, this little rosette was made by somebody that attended Breyer Midwest. They made these 1/9 scale rosettes for people that attended Breyer Midwest. It was very cute. And then there's Rialto. He's kind of shoved in a corner right now because I don't really have room for him elsewhere. And I don't want to do another shelf of Totalist. They fit so nicely in here, so he just has to deal with it. But yes, there's Rialto. Special, national, reserve champion boy that the camera is absolutely refusing to focus on, but he's very cute. All right, the Salinero conga had some big changes from last year, so it now takes up 2 whole shelves. So we're cheating a little bit, and we're moving on to the next wall here. But you guys know the special ones here. We have the event Salvino from Ponies and Palm Trees. We have El Capitan, who was an event model from Passage to the Pacific. I love him. He's one of my collection favorites, and he Also recently overalled at the end of last year for the first time. He's just very, very cool. Glossy Verdades, he's a Collector Club Appreciation horse. And then the new ones, we have Matte and Glossy, Sorry Not Sorry, from BREYERFEST last year. And then Breyer did a new Salinero, a web special. This is Prague. So you guys saw Majorca before, and you're seeing Prague now. Those are two of the exotic destinations web specials that Breyer has done this year. And then you all know Mr. Pants. He is the Dressage Elegant Salinero. All right, and I will single out Prague quickly because I think that they did such a good job with him. His dapples are so nice, not fish scaly at all. And his color is just beautiful. I love how his face is so much lighter, so it looks like he's graying out. His tail as well is this nice gradient. He is just, he is beautiful. They did a great job with him. All right, next we have the Andalusian Mare in Foal. These guys also have not changed since last year, but they are ever lovely. My Hermosa was, I think she was national champion at Nan. She was either national champ or national reserve. I don't remember. I think she was national champ, but I'll look and I'll put it on the screen. But she is very special. And then also, I'm always forever in love with the Poppy and Ollie sets. They are so cool. And then down at the bottom, we have True North. Nothing has really changed in my conga here. I do have the original. Miss Independent was a special run at BREYERFEST last year, so you guys saw her in my haul, but now she lives on my shelf with all of her brothers. And then another cool one would probably be the Collector Club Appreciation Glossy Catch Me. And I can't forget about the guys that I put in the corner. We have the Quagga from last year, I Will Survive. I love this little guy. She has actually shown really well for me. I think just because she's cool. And yeah, I'm really glad that I caved and I got one because I love her. Okay, in this corner we have my DAH of portrait model of my horse, Smooch. I actually recently have taken him to a couple of shows and he overalled in one and has nanned in all of the others, so I guess I'm showing him now. He's always just been a shelf piece for me because he came pretty flawed from stone, but I decided to have him professionally repaired because I want to use him as my primary performance horse. So after he came home from repairs, I was like, you know what? Why don't I take him to a show? And he's just going to continue coming to shows because he has been doing great. And he's very cute and he makes me happy because he looks like my boy. All right, on to side two. All right, up top we have my Smarty Jones conga. We've got a few new faces here this year. I added a Frankel. I got him from a friend at the end of last year. He is such a cool regular run. I really, really like him. You guys saw that I added a Rushmore in my BREYERFEST haul. He is also so cool. I'm so glad to finally have one. I love him. And then I also got a Phantasma. You can see that I dipped into my spooky side a little bit this past year and got a couple of Halloween horses, which is outside of my norm. But I love Halloween and Phantasma has always been one of my favorites. I actually got him new in box, which was so cool. So I got to do like a Halloween unboxing of him and that was really, really fun. So anyways, there's Phantasma. All right, now we have Emerson or Winx. This conga has changed a lot in the last year because Emerson was the surprise model at BREYERFEST 2024. So lots of new faces. I do have a full set of the matte Girls Run the World surprise. And then I also caved, and when my friend was selling her glossy chestnut Sabino, I bought her because she was my favorite color out of the Girls Run the World surprise variations. So I do have a matte and a gloss of the chestnut Sabino, but besides that, this conga remains the same, besides that significant addition of like 6 horses. But Crane will always be my favorite. You cannot tell me that they will ever do an Emerson cuter than Crane. I won't believe you. So there they are. All right, we already talked about salineros taking over 2 shelves, bunch of shelf hogs. So now we can move on to Idicus. Nothing new here. The big highlights are my Nirvana, who's an event model from Seattle Soiree in 2020 that did not happen in person. Yeah, the rest of the guys are the same. A few of them have been outside getting sun. Buttercream needs to go outside and get some sun. But the rest of them are looking good. Another cool one here would be Valiant, who is a connoisseur. All right, and last on this shelf is Giselle. The one new one here is Calista. She was the brick and mortar special run for this year. She's very pretty. I'll pull her out actually in a second. But the rest of these guys you guys have seen already. Teton is pretty cool. She is in America the Beautiful web special run of 300. And then here's Calista. So she was the, again, I think brick and mortar special run for this year. She's really pretty. She's this dark shaded chestnut with some belly spots. Very like tricanery looking color and build. She's very, very pretty. I think they did a really good job with her. And it's fun to see her next to Chesapeake, who I also should have highlighted, who's an event model, because they're both like different flavors of this really pretty shaded chestnut color. There's Chesapeake and Calista together. They're very pretty. Okay, so despite some serious finagling this year, my ribbon trellis filled up. It is like crammed in there all the way down to the bottom, but it is still filled up. So we have started a second one that apparently is not well constructed right now, but I'm working on it. All right, and then we are moving on to this middle unit where we start ponies and drafts. At the top, we have all of my celebration models. I keep a new in-box celebration model for every BREYERFEST that I attend. These two will actually be going to BREYERFEST with me to be part of my demo at the Hobby Information booth, which is how to make a shadow box out of your celebration horse. So come check them out. All right, starting the drafties off strong is Mr. Moose. Just kidding. But not really, actually. We have my Shenandels, my lovely original Shenandel. He is very special. He was my first ever Premier Club model that I got as a member. And he had a really gnarly seam split. And I had to send him out to get professionally repaired. And he came back looking absolutely fabulous and has been able to show ever since. He recently overalled for me in March, and he is, yes, he is ever lovely, and I am glad to have him back in business. We've also got Cardinal, the chestnut there is a web special, Matte Glossy Wells, Matte Glossy Benelli, and then another cool one is the Glossy Gray Shire Gelding. He was a CCA model back when those were pretty darn limited. I think there's only like 110 or so of him made. And then hiding in the shadows, we have Hamish from BREYERFEST 2020, the giant cow, and Peanutine. All right, and then I'm gonna go conga by conga. I have them split up just the way that this shelving unit is dispersed. I have Cleveland Bay, Cleveland Bay, Cleveland Bay, and then Flash and Flash. So let's get into it. All right, I've only got 4 Cleveland Bays on this shelf. I have 5 on the other 2. I'm saving a spot for another one that's going to come home. Actually, I have to find room for 2 more Cleveland Bays because I'm coming home with 2 Cleveland Bays from BREYERFEST. However, right now, I only have room for 1. I only have room for 1 more on this shelf, so that's going to be interesting. But yes, we've got my 2 regular runs, and then Patty the web special, Oliver. We're going down here to this shelf. I love the JCPenney special. He's very cool. couple rotating draft surprises. And then all the way down here, we've got the rest of them. Astru is a web special. He's a run of about 220, I think. And then this is a new copy of O'Leary's Irish Diamond. I just never quite connected with my old copy, and I wanted one that had some different details, and I was able to get that one that you're looking at new in box. So that was pretty cool. All right, moving on to Flash. Flash didn't change too much. I think I have one new edition. You'll never beat the original for me. Like, look at the shading on his face. He's so good. He's so good. Like, are you kidding me? This is a regular run from like 2000 and whatever. He's amazing. Like, this is a regular run. Anyways, okay. All right, a few cool ones on this shelf. Midas was a web special who was painted in New Jersey. I bought him from a good friend. He's very, very cool. Glossy Chardonnay was a Breyer West special run. Bally Lee was one of the first ever web specials to exist. Ben Nevis was a volunteer model. And then the gray at the end is a new guy. He is a regular run. I've wanted a copy of him for a really long time. I really like this copy. He was a labor of love. I definitely had to fix him up a little bit when I got him, but it was well worth it, and he is beautiful. All right, next we have Jorg the Chonk. There are many of him now because Breyer knows that we like him. I think the biggest highlight here is my glossy Theo. He is so cute, but he cannot be outdone by his matte brother, who was a sectional grand champion at the BREYERFEST Open Show last year. And in a roundabout way, he won me my glossy Athenian lady. So I will never complain about glossy Theo's matte brother. And there are the rest of them. Nice and chunky. And then beyond, we have the two Irish Cob mare sets. The bay there was the special run set from BREYERFEST last year. And then the original Premier Club set, which I think is criminally underrated. She is so pretty. All right, so this corner looks a lot different from last year. I have a new desk and many more monitors because, again, this is where I work from now. So it goes right up to the wall here. There's not a gap anymore. And this is my FBI headquarters. That's a joke. I've got my Cricut, so I can work on crafts or have things running while I'm working. And then all of my storage for both basic office supplies, as well as business supplies, as well as personal hobby supplies. These little containers are where I store all of my NAN cards. So, ta-da! They are all stacked pretty meticulously, so I'm being careful. Ta-da! Ta-da! So that's how I keep those organized. I do also have a database spreadsheet that is accessible to me at all times. But that is where I keep the physical cards and other showing supplies. Also, other basic crafting office supplies. The middle one there is all of my like performance supplies. Not props, but like stuff to build things with. You can see glue and moss. So that's fun. And then my bookshelf, pretty different from last year because now we also have this shelf. So yes, I know there's lots of hobbyists that are also readers. So, oh, and then I found a cube to kind of like mash my diorama contest entry from last year in. So I still have that. I probably won't always, but it lives there temporarily. Okay, back to the models. So this is all new. Right after BREYERFEST last year, I bought this new shelving unit, and then shortly thereafter, the whole desk situation and office setup changed, but the shelving unit is new. That was just kind of empty space last year. I mentioned thinking I was gonna need it, and I did. So that is new, but before we get there, minis. All right, you guys know that I love my minis. So we're just gonna do a really quick overview, and then I'm gonna pull a couple that I added this past year or that are really special for other reasons. Top shelf, we have my jumpers. Puget is new. I bought him. Ooh. I might have had him before BREYERFEST last year, actually. No, I did, because he was part of my collector's class. Never mind. We've also got my playing fulls. I've tried to like beef up my full mini string a little bit this year. Augustus was a new collector club model mold last year. Then I've acquired several more kits, more drafties. I don't think there's anything new there. My Clydesdale filly was Nan National Grand Champ, which was really cool. And she's gotten several full sectionals since then. This is a new copy of this guy. I traded my $1.50 Wonder for him. But yes, that's a new copy technically. And then I finally got a Gladwin's Lucky Gray Lady, and I'm thrilled. She was a highlight edition of last year for sure. All right, here she is. I had wanted one of these for so long, and she is so elusive. I only saw a few sell publicly this year, and while I really wanted one, I wasn't quite willing to pay an extremely high price for her, and I won this one in an auction for what I thought was a perfectly reasonable price, and I am just thrilled to have her. She is beautiful. Look at that pink snip on a mini. She is so, so beautiful. All right, then we got my mini Clydesdale stallions here. Ned down there with the blue bobs is an event model. We've got my Frisians, and then my mini Yorgs. Got a couple new regular runs of mini Yorg this year. All right, in the shadows, we have Darwin. Nothing big changed there for me. Couple little Foleys, and then Murado. You guys know my cool new Murado edition. I Forgot That You Existed, who is a Best Customs Contest stablemate. And then I always love my little Roo. He's very cute. He is an event model. All right, you guys have probably seen him already, but here's a close-up of I Forgot That You Existed, who is my BCC stablemate from last year. I just think he is so cool. This color is so bright and bold. It looks great on him. All right, next are mini Britians. Nothing new here, although you might have noticed that I no longer have my traditional Britians. I decided to sell my traditional Britain conga. I much prefer the mini version. I couldn't exactly tell you why, but I just wasn't jiving with my traditional Britain conga anymore, so they got purged. But the minis get to stay. All right, and then we have my Jangos. Nothing new here, but I will always love Buggy. All right, starting the bottom shelf, we have the mini Indian pony. Same with Britain. I long ago sold my traditional Indian ponies, but I love the mini Indian pony. The really bright, almost like yellow Palomino was a blind bag release from this year, and she's super cool. I like her. And then little Enya was the Premier Club stablemate from last year, and she is also very cute. We have the Shetland ponies. This conga has grown a lot. I acquired both a matte and a glossy set of the Wee Trio stablemates, these guys, and they were still new in package. They were 20 years old, the set, and they were new in package when I got them, which was such a thrill. I got them from the Bonnie Ellis estate auction at the beginning of the year, so They are very, very special, and how cool to get a 20-year-old event set new in the packaging. I was thrilled with them. And then we have the farm. All of the animals. All right, first row is ponies, and we have lots of new things going on here. At the end is little Westphalia, who is a BREYERFEST Best Customs Contest stablemate. She's very dark, so I'll pull her out in a second, but I was thrilled to have added her this year. We also have Silver Bay Iris, who is a new addition. As always, the lyrics. My Rearing Arabians got displaced up here because I don't have room for them on my light shelf. The Fjord colored Fjord is new. He was a regular run for this year. And the Perlino Iris is also new. And then as always, I love my Roan Iris. All right, here is little Westphalia. She was the Best Customs Contest stablemate, so runner-up prize model from, I think, 2022. I love her. She has tricolored eyes. She is this beautiful black blanket Appaloosa color. She's actually the same pattern as the Cremello or Perlino Iris. Hi! Oh my word! Hello, thank you. And I'm thrilled to have another BCC stablemate in my collection. I've only got 2 more left that I want to collect, so maybe next year, right? All right, next are the loping stock horse mare or quarter horse mare mold. You guys know how special my Moon Pie is to me. She has overalled for me 3 times, one of which was at Breyer West 2024, and she's just a very, very special girl. I'm very happy to have her. I won't pull her out, you guys have seen her, but she's very special. I've also really, really loved the mini Bonaire flowers. She's so pretty. She's such a gorgeous color. And I love getting to see her next to Big Bonaire, who you'll see in a minute. That's such a thrill. So I love her. And then we're getting more of this girl this year. She is the Stablemate Club Gambler. So this conga will be bigger this time next year. All right, and now we have the Thoroughbred conga. I don't think this has changed since last year, but I will say that my Newport recently overalled, which was very validating. I really like my copy of Newport, and it was cool to see her do so well. And next we have the Rainers. Nothing different this year. I love them. I have a problem. I keep buying more. I do have a full set of Diesel, including the Wedgwood, that's pretty out of character for me. I'm not a deco collector, but I love a good Wedgwood, and I love the Diesel run. So there they are. And then I have just a few rivets. I threatened to sell these guys this year. I did do a little bit of a stablemate purge earlier in the year, but they ultimately stayed around because I really like them, especially the 2 on the end, but who knows. All right, and next we have the mules. I love these guys. All their teeth all lined up. I do have a full set of the realistic fins. Again, I'm not a deco collector, so I don't need the deco guy, but I do love my realistic fins and their teeth. That colorful guy in the back always garners a lot of questions. He is a 1/32nd scale Trail of Painted Ponies model. That's all I know. I found him in a gift shop when I was a child, and my aunt bought him for me, and he has always lived on my model horse shelves. He's really cool. I don't know much more about him than that. I didn't even know they did 1/32nd scale models until I saw him in that store, and I still don't know much more about him than that, but he's cool. Alright, and then nothing big has changed with this conga either. This is the Paralympic or standing stock horse. I love this sculpt. Big highlight here is Belvedere, the Blue Roan blanket Appaloosa. She was the event model for Sweet Home Chicago. All right, now the light shelf is a different story. The light shelf has had a lot of new additions and is looking very crowded at the moment. We have Mini Zafira, Mini Magnolia, and then my G1 Arabs. Some of the only G1 stablemates that I enjoy. I acquired a full set of this JCP Breeds of the World series that included both the Pinto Mare and the Rose Gray Stallion. So they're very cool new additions. Then the Bay Overo Mare was another blind bag, April Fool's blind bag run. And then everything else new that you're seeing here are all regular runs. We got a lot of really cool regular run stablemates this year. But yeah, this shelf is looking, she's looking crowded. All right, we are moving on to the corner shelf. This is my stock horse and pony shelf. And there's a lot packed in here. All right, the top shelf houses my newsworthy conga. And there are many of these. Without talking at too much of a length about them, the only ones I do not own are Jump for Joy and Glossy Blue. I do have the Glossy Mr. Chips, who is right there, as well as Spring Break, the event model, Golden Boy, the Connoisseur, and Toulouse, the raffle model, who I will gladly pull down. Alright, so this is Toulouse, who is the 2008 BREYERFEST raffle model on Newsworthy. He was one of my biggest grails of literally all time, him and Jump for Joy. I am still in awe that I own him. Sometimes I forget and then I realize and I get excited all over again because I love him so much. He came to live with me a few months after BREYERFEST last year and I am still so thrilled. He is such a cool piece and anytime something this limited comes into my collection, I'm a little gobsmacked and starstruck and all the things, and this guy fits the bill and beyond, so he is very special and very loved. All right, next shelf, we've got another one that wraps around. This is my Dundee conga. I love Dundee. I love Dundee so much. This conga hasn't changed very much since last year. The big highlight and the big change is that I brought home a glossy Athenian lady from BREYERFEST last year. So behind the Nan cookie are both my glossy and matte copies of Athenian Lady. And here are the rest of them. Duwamish will always be a collection favorite. He is so beautiful. Alright, so here's just a quick close-up of glossy Athena. I love her. I'm not always big on just getting the glossy version of a horse that I already have in matte, but something about this particular horse in gloss I just really, really liked, and I really wanted her. And I'm so glad I was able to come home with her from BREYERFEST last year. Alright, next shelf we have my Misties. This conga has not changed, but she is always a classic and I love her. My seldom few silvers. Then we have got my Firefly and Hawkeyes. And my Bobby Joes. I love Bobby Joe. I think the only new one that I have this time around is my Sheila. I did purchase a copy of Sheila from a friend this past year. And probably the coolest one in this conga is Wimpy's little chick. He was an event model from Spokes and Spurs last year. All right, Geronimo time. There are many Geronimos. We have to round the corner here to see them all. And the nightlight. I don't have them turned on right now because It doesn't look as good when the lights are on, but this is Kirk. Kirk was from the Vintage Club last year, and he is a nightlight, so he lights up. And his coat is this really cool, like, constellation. He almost looks like the night sky when he's lit up. He's just really cool. I really, really like him. And some of the highlights of the Geronimo conga are, of course, Cloverleaf, who was a BREYERFEST Open Show overall grand prize model from 2018. And then my white-maned Ambrose. He is one of only 2 known variations that has a white mane instead of the silver. Okay, so just for fun, here's a close-up of Cloverleaf. This is my first collection tour with him, so wanted to give him his due. I think the coolest thing about him, honestly, is his mane. The gradient is so pretty. Breyer actually calls him a silver bay because of his mane and tail, which is kind of cool. I think that he is a really, really nice color, and it is really interesting to see him next to the other brown Geronimos that I have. And then in the middle, I would not want to forget my 2 Adonises, the original, and then, what is this guy's name? He was a BREYERFEST special run. With the ways they do the special run names now, I can never remember them. They're just too long. But this is the special run from last year. I did get the variation with the base, which is actually the one that I like, so I am very happy with that. Next, we have the Roxys, who also take up an entire shelf in the corner here. Some really cool highlights are obviously Miss Bonaire, who I was honored to have been able to purchase from a friend at the end of 2024. Shining and Sassy was an event model from the Lone Star celebration. And then Spot On is a connoisseur, the braided version of Roxy. New for this year on top of Bonaire are the Appaloosa CC Shuffle right there, as well as the Blue Roan CC Shuffle. This is a bit of a spoiler because I'm considering her... Hi. Hi, Angel Boy. I'm considering the Blue Roan CC Shuffle here to be part of my BREYERFEST haul. I literally got her in the mail today, and she came out of my BREYERFEST budget. The friend that I purchased her from just isn't attending BREYERFEST, so she had to ship her, but I'm considering her part of my BREYERFEST haul. And she's really pretty. I'm very, very glad that I purchased her. She looks really nice next to all of her sisters. Also, Bugaboo is new. Bugaboo is this bay with the really high socks. She was a Tractor Supply special in 2024, so she's new this collection tour. Alright, of course, Bonaire had to get her close up. She is so lovely. Cookie agrees. This color is just phenomenal. And she is a raffle horse that I just don't see as often, I think because of when she came out. They kind of just got shipped to people, and I think that she stayed where she was sent. I think I've only ever seen one of these sell, or at least listed, and I don't even know if it sold. So I'm very, very happy to have her. She is gorgeous, and I'm so glad that she could come from such a special situation and a good friend. Right, Cookie? All right, and in the back we have my 2 semi-rearing stallions. My Kind of Town is an event model from Sweet Home Chicago. I actually bought My Kind of Town from the same friend that I bought the CC Shuffle from. That's funny. I just realized that. I've got a couple babies down there too that are hiding. And then I have Beowulf, who I also won this past year in a live show raffle. So I won 2 Halloween horses. I did not actually... The only one I purchased was Phantasma out of the 3 that I own. So yes, Beowulf is very cute. He'll come out during Halloween. Otherwise, he kind of sits in his corner. All right, this next shelf is all ponies, kind of assorted pony molds that I only have a few on, except for Bouncer. So here is the Small But Mighty Nicholas conga. The new one there actually is quite new, and that's the Glossy POA. He was a Collector Club Appreciation Glossy for 2025, and that just happened like a couple of weeks ago, so he is very new. And then we have my Welsh Mare and Foal conga. This has not changed. They are super cute. They almost hit the chopping block. I thought better of it because they are very cute, and I just have so many ponies, but Breyer knows how to do a good pony. What can I say? And then this is cool. You've seen some Nan cookies on my shelves from Nan 2024, but this purple one, this is the only purple one that you'll see. This was the volunteer cookie, so I got this for volunteering. It says volunteer at the bottom there, at Nan on Tuesday last year. So all the other ones, silver, gold, those are the national, national champ and national reserve. But the purple one is for volunteering. And behind it is Llewellyn, who I love, but I have not shown yet. Well, maybe I did. There's a tag on his leg. I don't remember showing him. I haven't shown him very much. He's very cool, but there's just a dozen and a half of him out there at shows right now, so I'll wait a little while to show him more regularly, but I definitely will because he is beautiful. I think he's one of the best Premier Club releases they've done in several years. He's really cool. Okay, and then we have my bouncers. This conga has not changed since the last time you all saw it. It's pretty well complete as far as obtainable horses. There's a couple really, really limited ones that I'd love to add someday, but I'm not holding my breath. The big highlights here are Boca, who was an event model from Ponies and Palm Trees, an event boutique model. And then, of course, Sand Dollar, who's kind of front and center here. He's a connoisseur. And he is stunning. I got him early 2024, so you guys have seen him before, but thank you. Oh. Hello. Can I help you? He's like, it's late. Can we go to bed? Okay, now these guys are kind of hard to get to. We have my POAs. I love this mold. I don't think any of these guys are new for this year. The big highlight is obviously Kandinsky. He's a connoisseur. Next to him is Pippin, who is the UK exclusive. She's also very cute. And then there's two others back there that are very difficult to see, but there they are. There's just a few fun things on my desk that I'll point out. We still have, of course, my mascots, who recently, the cats are always so good. The cats have never knocked down anything on these shelves, ever. They have, however, knocked my mascots over because I've been cracking this window because it's summer and it's nice out. I've got this little window well out there. And they've tried to get through that window crack because they want to go outside because they're a bunch of heathens. So, anyways, they've knocked these horses over, but they're my mascots. They're not show models, so I don't really care. But anyways, I thought I'd tell that story because everyone's like, don't your cats knock over your models? No, they never do. They never touch the shelves. But these apparently are fair game because they're in front of the window that they're trying to escape through. So, also Earl. And then I'll feature this girl because she's still here. This is the Stone Horses Country Fair Grand Prize model. Oh. Did you think that that was a human blanket? If so, you would be wrong. This is Cookie's bed. This is where he sleeps at least 6 hours every single day. This was supposed to be a human blanket. It's literally just a throw blanket. But because he has to be down here when I am down here, it became a cat blanket, and now he's licking his butt. Anyways, apologies. And she lives here for now, but I did sell her just on time pays that actually got paid off this evening, so I have to package and send her out tomorrow, but it was nice to get to appreciate her while she was here. I'm just not a deco collector, and I don't regularly collect stones. I've already acquired random stones popping up in my collection. I just don't have room to continue keeping pieces that aren't things that I try to collect. So anyway, she's going to a lovely home, a home that has other stone prize unicorns. So she's gonna like help complete a collection of those. And she's also paying for a really cool BREYERFEST edition for me. So it all worked out in the end, and I have enjoyed at least having her on my desk for the past month or so. Okay. I love it. I hope you guys loved it. I hope you loved seeing it. If you follow me on Instagram, you see it all the time anyways, but I hope you enjoyed this in-depth view into my collection and into the space. I love it. I could spend, and I do spend, all day down here. And yeah, I'm really happy with where my collection is. I'm really happy with both the models that I sold and the models that I added in the past year. And I can't wait to see how things shake up and change after BREYERFEST. So safe travels. I will see you all in Kentucky. I'm so excited. And yeah, my next video will either be my BREYERFEST experience or haul, and that'll be super exciting too. It's like the season of all of the exciting hobby things. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys in my BREYERFEST videos. I want you to